Hello, and you're very welcome back with us here at the Galway Film Fleadh. I hope you just enjoyed Wall's Citizen. I thought it was a terrific documentary, and I'm thrilled to be joined by the director now, Samir Qumsiye, who is joining us from Bethlehem. Hi, Samir.
Hey, hi everybody. Thank you for watching the film. And hi, Will.
Hi. Um, yeah, I like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed watching this film. One of the things I enjoyed most about it is how positive it was. I mean, obviously, it was an exploration of things like freedom and occupation and things like that. But I think your great good humor was also infused throughout. I think it's probably not what a lot of people expect to see. When they think of Palestinian cinema, which I think was great to see such a positive representation, in the festival. Maybe tell us a bit about the making of it. I understand it was 3 years on the road in total, and then editing.
Yeah, well, I, I've been feeling kind of trapped in Palestine. So I said, let's make a film to express these frustrations. So I carried my camera and started filming in Palestine. Then I had a chance to travel for 4 months to study. And then I said, okay, then I will film what happens when I travel. And it started like that. Me with my camera, traveling around like every chance I got, all like through these 3 years to travel. I used it, and I tried to backpack in these and to go into this backpacking mood, because to backpack as a Palestinian, it's not easy. So you need to apply for visas different than backpacking, like for official things, and then use this visa to be on the road and go to the adventure thing. And yeah, and then after 3 years of filming these encounters with people, I had an immense amount of footage. So it took me about a year to structure it in this way. Yeah, and reliving
Do you
these
think?
moments. Yeah, continue.
Oh, so I was just going to ask. Do you think? I'm thinking of scenes like where you were passing through the airport, and the official was, she was looking at your passport, and she was calling the other guy over. Like, do you think was having the camera an extra challenge in that way? Was that did you have to work out sort of how to be inconspicuous with the camera in those situations as well?
Actually, this exact moment was improvised, because I'm used to these kind of behaviors from the border police. And I was like, okay, now it's gonna happen. And I saw this line, and my turn will come eventually, and I was like, that's a great moment. So, because I was already carrying all my gear. The GoPro was near the bag, so I just turned it on and put it, like I did not even like saw if the lens was on that direction or anything. I just like pressed record and then hoped for the better, and it happened as I expected. Like they take longer time to inspect and stuff like that. And yeah, then I saw the footage, and it was like actually a perfect shot. I was like really proud that it
Brilliant.
worked. Yeah.
Success. Maybe tell us a bit about so after you've been on the road and you've gotten all of this footage, um, trying to put a structure on that. I mean, we were talking previously. You were saying it took about a year to edit the film together as well. Is that right?
Yeah. The thing is that in the beginning, because the journey itself was life changing, and I wasn't the same person who started the film. It wasn't the same person who finished the film, and that was the biggest challenge, is to go back to the roots of why this film must exist. And that was like the challenging aspect of things, because it was first started as like it's my personal depression thing, and then when I like went on the road and met all these people and learned a lot about the world and its walls and stuff like that. Um, I thought that maybe there is something more meaningful beyond my own personal depression, which is like to send the message of hope and connection to the world through this experience. And that's when things got easier after I got over my, you know, intense self-analytics kind of thing. Like when I
It's
started to think of it more in a more a global way, things started to become more clear how to structure this film. And yeah, it happened eventually.
Yeah, no, I think you did an amazing job of doing exactly that. I thought it was, I don't want to say amusing, but you know, when you meet some of the characters that you meet on the road, and they're talking about when they talk about the alienation that they felt in, like, you know, Southern California, for example, um, and you know, it's paralleled in the same alienation that you talk about feeling in Palestine. It's sort of, you frame these conversations in such a way as that it kind of almost doesn't matter if you're from, you know, the West Bank or California, even though life is completely different in those
Exactly.
places. It's the same sense of alienation.
Yes, yeah, and that's part of the whole idea of the film. It's like actually, if you want to, if you are free, you can be free wherever you want, and if you are not free, you are not free wherever you want. And when you like decide to go on the road to explore the world in these kind of ways, it's there is always something that holds you back. There is always chains, and it's and that was the whole idea. It's like everyone in the world has some sort of chains. It's matter of what's meaningful for you to go on a journey for. And that's kind of like, yeah, and my journey was the meaning for my journey was to say something about the walls I have in Palestine and the walls that people build between each other. And that's the meaning behind the journey.
Yeah, yeah. I think that was kind of encapsulated as well by your friend in, I think, was it Sweden, who was saying that she felt more freedom in Palestine than she did, you know, while she was there waiting for her residency. Um, and another thing that you've touched on, and that was relevant to that friend's story, was mental health. Is a kind of theme that runs through this film. So you found that the traveling and actually backpacking was a way for you to sort of tackle some of the depression that you were feeling.
Exactly. Yeah, because like I really did it like in the beginning, like some people were like thinking like when I said about making that I'm making a film about backpacking stuff like that, like people like immediately thought it's gonna be, you know, like a political thing and officials talking about these kind of problems. And like and the like in the very first day I knew that this must be about the personal, like really like about the humans, like the psychology, like what it really feels for like normal people, you know. And that's part of it, like mental issues and these kind of walls and bureaucratic stuff, they get you like mentally, you know. So and it was like just a manifestation of the real thing. It's not like about papers and statistics. It was about humans like suffering psychologically and emotionally because of these walls that they cannot get rid of, you know.
Yeah. And can I ask you a personal question? The relationships that you forged on your travels, do you still are in contact with those people?
Yeah, actually I am all of them, but I'm trying to remember if there is someone that I'm not in contact with. I'm not sure.
Any
No,
particularly challenging stories or funny stories from your journey that aren't in the film that you could tell us about?
well, Gabriella, for example, Gabby, uh, she she wanted to come visit me here, and she was like really stressed, and she felt like maybe they will like stop her and like ban her from coming, and then she canceled. Like we were like, I mean, like, of course, like she's not political or anything, but like we were like really like making a plan on how she can enter Israel as a tourist and what she can say and stuff like that, in order for them to let her in. But
Yeah.
then she thought maybe it's a risky business and decided not to come. So
Yeah.
that's not a funny story, but there's
No,
like
no, but it's definitely a
there is a
challenge.
better
Yeah.
story. Yeah, there is like I mean, Max came back again another time, visited Palestine, and also the couple who I met in Denmark, Uli and Sarah, they also came to visit me, and it was awesome time. It
Oh,
was
great.
the first time for them to. Actually, for Ule, it was the first time. Sarah came here before.
Oh, that's cool. Because when you met them, they hadn't. I think, if I remember correctly, they didn't have much experience or knowledge of Palestine at all. Isn't that right? The couple. So they actually ended up visiting you.
Exactly. Yes, and that's a cool thing about this whole thing. It's like yeah, when people come really visit the humans in any place, it's different than what they say in the media or what they see in movies and stuff like that. And like I'm really happy that my encounters and me befriending these people ended up like for them coming here and see the reality for themselves, and but not only the political reality, also the human aspect of things, and how our relationships bonded better, and how like they saw the context of where I came from, like
Hmm.
it made our relationships better and more solid.
Yeah, yeah. You can see that developing throughout the film as well, which I think is another great thing about it. Maybe let's talk a little bit about you as a filmmaker. I know you've also worked on films like Love, Theft, and Other Entanglements, and Sarah and Salim. Was that concurrent with where in the timeline did that happen? How did you balance your life as a backpacker with also being a working filmmaker in Palestine?
Actually, it's interesting because like the first ever trip as a backpacker I had, it was in 2014. That before the even I started this film, but it was when I traveled with Muayed to the director of Love Theft. We went to Belgium for the color grading, and I said, okay, I'll take my backpack, and when we finish the color grade, I continue for 2 months on the road. And that's
Oh, cool.
where like that was the first backpacking trip for me. And then yeah, and then with the other film, I was already filming this World Citizen, and I like stopped until we finished filming and editing, and then we traveled again to Europe to make the color grading for Sarah and Salim. So I traveled again, and yeah, and continued filming for World Citizen. So yeah, it was like I've always found time to work on these different projects, and World Citizen was always in the background, and like it's yeah, and with other projects also as well. Like I used like sometimes I was filming with other projects, for example, in a different city in Palestine, and when I encounter like a checkpoint, I film it. For example, there's a shot that says "slow down, barrier ahead." That was I was filming for a different project, and I saw this because we were going between cities, and I saw this sign. So I took my other camera and filmed it for World Citizen, stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool that you can be flexible in that way as well.
Yeah.
What's next for you? Are you just focusing on getting Walled Citizen out into the world? Are you juggling other projects now at the same time?
Well, now, yeah, my main focus is to get World Citizen to be seen as much as possible to a wider audience, and now I'm starting to work more into my own kind of project, which is like I started this Facebook and YouTube channel to talk about different things, and one of these things also global citizenship and about world citizen, to have a platform for me to express what I think and what experiences we have here in Palestine, or hopefully later other places in the world if I travel. And yeah, that's what the next like that's what I think I'll be doing in the next year or two.
That's great.
Yeah.
We'll add links to those to the YouTube page on the screen as well, so people can visit. Do you think you'll get to visit Ireland on your travels at all?
Well, I wish. I really wish that that there's no pandemic or anything, so we can, so I can visit. But
Yeah,
yeah, well, I'll wait for another chance. I mean, sure, sure, it's one of the countries on the list that I should visit. So wait for me one day. I don't know.
Since you touched on it, actually, before I let you go, how have you been viewing, with your eye towards sort of global citizenship and open borders and the way that the pandemic has locked everything down? Do you see that as having been, do you see the effect of that? And when you're talking to other travelers as well, is it sort of been a great equalizer? Do you feel that other people will now sort of feel some of the challenges that you faced?
Yeah, I actually talked a couple of times about this. It's, I think it's this. I mean, it's an unfortunate circumstances, but there is always something we can learn, which is like for like people who thought that freedom of movement was given for granted. Now they can see how complicated it is for other people, and what it means to feel that you are really locked in one place. But this is like actually, I think it makes traveling have a like a deeper meaning, because like now we can see that we are connected. Like there's no way to deny this truth. Like the virus traveled, we were all in the same situation, and now like we should see that when traveling is on the table again, we should traveling in a ways that we can see those like humans of these countries, that we can see those beyond the walls kind of things, beyond the touristic attractions. And I think that's kind of the lesson that this pandemic is, I think, is trying to teach us. But I'm not sure if I just see these kind of things, or if other people see it as well. I'm not sure.
Well, I think you've put it all in the film, and I think it does have particular relevance now, with everything that we're living through. So, thanks again for that wonderful note to end on, and for your terrific film. Wish you all the best with it. I hope it continues to travel far and wide from here, and that lots of people get to see it. And I hope we'll get to see you here in Ireland as well in the future when all this is over. Thanks again, Samir.